Why is it that the person who cracked you open, the one who vanished without warning, without closure, without even a clean explanation, can't seem to get you out of her head, but still refuses to be the one who texts first? Why does she hover around your stories like a ghost with a front row seat, yet never steps into the room? Why does she post like she's thriving, smiling, laughing, living, while you sit there staring at your phone, drowning in the quiet she left behind? Here's the truth most people won't say out loud. She's used to you chasing. She's used to your urgency, your reassurance, your proof. And the moment you stop, really stop, something strange happens. The silence you hate becomes the cage she can't escape. Every hour you don't reach out forces a question into her mind. Every reaction you don't give, every like you don't leave, every message you don't send becomes louder than any paragraph you could write. Before we go deeper, I want you to do something simple. Comment one moment in your life when silence taught you the hard truth. One sentence is enough. Or type, "I'm the man," if you're done begging for clarity from someone who chose distance. And if this message already feels like it's describing your situation, subscribe to Stoic Legacy now, because what you're about to learn isn't a trick to get her back. It's a blueprint to get you back. She isn't reaching out because pride is a shield and fear is a leash. She's hoping you'll crack first, because if you do, she keeps the illusion of control. She gets to feel powerful without ever taking responsibility. But the man who masters himself, the Stoic man, doesn't break just to soothe the tension. He doesn't beg. He doesn't audition for a place in someone's life who already showed him how easily they can disappear. And when she senses that shift, when she realizes your world didn't collapse without her, that's when the regret begins. Not because you performed some magical move, but because you stopped feeding her certainty. This is not a game of ego. This is a return to your backbone. You don't need her to come back. You need you to come back. So if you're sitting there waiting for her to make the first move, hear this clearly. Stop waiting. Because what she's truly watching for is evidence that you've moved on. Evidence that you're no longer available on demand. And once she feels that, silence becomes your loudest weapon. 1. She pulled away to watch you chase. She didn't pull away because she suddenly got confused. She didn't disappear overnight because her feelings evaporated like mist. Most of the time, it's more deliberate than that, measured, intentional, even calculated. She stepped back to watch what you would do, because distance has a way of revealing the truth about a man faster than any conversation ever could. When most men feel someone slipping away, they panic. They start bargaining with the moment. They fire off texts that don't get answered. They apologize for things they didn't even do. They over-explain, over-give, over-love, hoping intensity can replace certainty. Meanwhile, she says less, pulls back more, becomes emotionally unavailable, and waits to see if you'll fold. And the moment you fold, she gets the answer she wanted. Not, "Do I love him?" but "Does he need me?" Because need is leverage. Need is control. When you chase, you silently hand her the steering wheel. You tell her, "You can leave and I'll still be here," reaching, hoping, trying. You may call it love, but the dynamic reads as dependence. The Stoic man does the opposite. He doesn't explode. He doesn't spiral. He doesn't hit send on a long emotional essay she'll skim and forget. He recognizes what's happening, a silent test of presence, of discipline, of whether his peace belongs to him or to her mood. And when he passes that test, when he doesn't chase, doesn't plead, doesn't collapse into explanation, something shifts inside her. Because she expected the old story. She expected pursuit. She expected you to run after the version of her that's retreating. But instead, she meets calm. She meets stillness. She meets absence. And absence doesn't just hurt, it implies. It whispers, maybe he let go. Maybe I'm not the center anymore. Maybe I pushed too far. And then the fear she tried to plant in you begins to grow in her. The fear of loss. That's where the power flips. Not through manipulation, but through self-respect. You become so grounded in your worth that her pullback no longer dictates your peace. You don't chase because you don't need to. and that is the storm she never saw coming. 2. Attention is the drug, and you are the supply. Attention isn't just affection, it's currency, it's emotional oxygen. And whether she admits it or not, she became accustomed to yours. Every good morning, every compliment, every instant reply, every like, every little signal that said, "You still have me." Over time, your focus became her routine, her daily dose. But here's the brutal part. People rarely respect what they can access at will. When your attention is always available, it starts to feel like background noise. It doesn't lose value because it's worthless. It loses impact because it's predictable. She stopped measuring the cost. She stopped remembering what it felt like to earn it. That's why your withdrawal hits harder than any message you could send. When you go quiet, truly quiet, you create a void, and the mind hates voids. She starts checking your activity. She notices you didn't react to her post. She wonders why your name didn't appear where it always used to. And that internal itch she feels, that's not random. That's withdrawal. You aren't punishing her. You aren't playing cruel games. You're restoring balance. You're taking your power back by refusing to donate your energy to someone who treats it like it's unlimited. You're reminding her, without a single word, that your time, your attention, your presence are not automatic. They are earned. And here's the twist that drives people crazy. The less freely you give, the more valuable you become. Scarcity changes perception. When something becomes rare, it becomes desirable, even if it was taken for granted before. Suddenly, she replays conversations. Suddenly, she overanalyzes the quiet, because now she can't be sure she still has access to you, and that uncertainty becomes magnetic. That's when the dynamic shifts. You stop being the supplier. You become the prize. And when you become the prize, the chase reverses, without you having to move an inch. 3. The craft of strategic absence. When you're always available, you become invisible. It's a strange paradox, but it's real. The more you show up on demand, the more your presence gets taken as a guarantee instead of a gift. Your words weigh less. Your effort blends into routine. And eventually, you're not the story. You're just the background. Strategic absence is not disappearing in anger. It's stepping back with intention. It's saying, without saying, "My presence is not free." She believed she could go cold, retreat, and still find you waiting exactly where she left you. She assumed your loyalty had no boundaries. But when you match her distance, and then double it, she finally feels something she can't dismiss. Contrast. She remembers how present you used to be, how quickly you responded, how easily she could pull your attention toward her. And then, nothing. That sudden drop forces her mind to fill the silence with questions. Did I mess up? Is he done? Did he finally choose himself? This is the Stoic truth. You don't have to convince anyone of your worth. Your absence can speak for you when it's backed by genuine self-respect. Most men fear pulling back because they're terrified of being forgotten. But controlled absence doesn't make her forget you. It makes her remember you differently. Every quiet hour becomes a trigger. Every day without you becomes a question mark. The silence becomes pressure, not passive, but powerful. And the key is this: strategic absence is elevation. You're not retreating, you're rising. You're moving from the man who wants her to the man she can't casually access. 4. Emotions are traps. Detach or be consumed. You can't think clearly while you're bleeding inside. And that's exactly why distance works the way it does. It provokes emotional reaction. It triggers your need for answers, closure, reassurance. It tempts you to trade dignity for relief. And if you do that, you hand the power away without realizing it. The more reactive you become, the easier you are to control. She doesn't have to do anything. Your own impulses do the work. You reach out to end discomfort. You chase to calm anxiety. You send one more message to fix the feeling. But that urge isn't strength. It's fear disguised as action. It's the mind trying to escape pain, even if the cost is self-respect. The Stoic man understands something most people never practice. Pain is inevitable, but reaction is a choice. Emotions rise, but he doesn't kneel to them. He observes them like weather, real, intense, passing. He doesn't deny what he feels. He just refuses to be led by it. Detachment isn't coldness, it's clarity. It's feeling the ache and still keeping your hands steady. It's standing in the storm without becoming the storm. And that kind of control, rare control, does something to her. It unsettles the person who expected you to crumble. Because now she can't predict you. She can't read you the way she used to. She can't press a button and get a reaction. When you detach, you stop demanding closure from her and start creating closure within yourself. You stop acting like she holds the key to your peace. You become centered again. And once you're centered, you're dangerous, in the best way. Not because you're bitter, but because you're free. 5. Your pain is her mirror. Your pain doesn't just hurt you. It reflects something back at her. When she sees you unravel, it confirms her influence. It tells her she mattered. It reassures her ego. I still have power here. And for someone who walked away, that confirmation can feel like victory. But here's the deeper truth. Your pain isn't only about missing her. It's about what her leaving activated inside you. Old fears, abandonment wounds, the need to be chosen, the craving for certainty. She didn't create those cracks. She revealed them, and that's why chasing her doesn't heal you. Because she's not the true source of your suffering. Attachment is. Many men try to heal through reconnection. They believe one text, one call, one apology will stop the bleeding. And maybe it would, for a moment. But temporary relief isn't healing. The real wound is the belief that you need her presence to feel okay. Pain, in Stoic terms, is a signal, not a life sentence. It points to where you've surrendered your power. It exposes what owns your peace. And when you use pain correctly, you don't ask, "Why did she leave me?" You ask, "Why was I built in a way that made her leaving destroy my center?" That question is the doorway back to yourself. Because now pain becomes fuel. It becomes refinement. It pushes you to rebuild your identity on discipline, purpose, and self-worth, something deeper than her approval. And here's what changes everything. When you stop projecting pain onto her, she feels it. Not your suffering, your distance, your growth, your calm. And that hits harder than any emotional message ever could. Because now she's looking at a version of you that no longer reflects her power. It reflects her mistake. And if you're getting value from this so far, take a second to tap like, not as a favor to me, but as a reminder to yourself that you're choosing strength today. 6. She feels deeply, but she responds to strength. Yes, she feels deeply. But don't confuse emotion with attraction, and don't confuse attraction with sympathy. People move toward what commands respect, what feels stable, grounded, powerful. She already knows how you feel. You've shown her in every effort, every explanation, every attempt to repair the distance. What she's watching for now isn't more emotion. It's posture, it's resilience, it's whether you can stand alone without collapsing into desperation. Because restraint is what shakes her. Not the paragraphs, not the vulnerability without boundaries. Restraint. This is where men get it wrong. They think pain expressed loudly equals love. They think showing how hurt they are will pull her back. But uncontrolled emotion doesn't attract. It signals instability. She might pity you, but she won't desire you. And if desire dies, the connection doesn't return in the way you want. But when you shift from needing her to mastering yourself, something reawakens in her. She sees a man who doesn't spiral, a man who doesn't beg, a man who isn't cold but is solid, calm, centered, the kind of presence that doesn't demand attention, yet somehow owns the room anyway. And here's the twist. When you stop trying to prove your worth to her, she starts questioning her place with you. She begins wondering if she's still relevant, if your door is still open, if someone else, someone more aligned with your new standards, has already stepped into the space she abandoned. That uncertainty cuts through ego like a blade, because deep down she knows this. It's hard to truly move on from a man who didn't chase, he evolved. 7. Your silence forces her to reflect. Silence isn't just the absence of sound, it's the presence of pressure. When you stop reaching out, stop reacting, stop offering reassurance, you create space. And in that space, she hears something she's been avoiding, her own thoughts. As long as you were chasing, she didn't have to reflect. Your attention protected her from guilt. It let her believe she had control. She could tell herself any story she wanted. He'll be back. He always comes back. But when days pass and your phone stays quiet, that story begins to crack. At first, her ego fights it. She scrolls, distracts herself, posts, laughs, stays busy. But late at night, in the stillness, when there's no applause and no noise, your absence speaks. Maybe he won't return. Maybe he's done. Maybe I miscalculated. That's how regret usually starts. Not as a dramatic confession, but as restlessness. Random memories. A sudden urge to check your profile. A dream that hits too real. And those thoughts grow because now she isn't reacting to what you're doing. She's reacting to what you're not doing. But here's the key. This only works when your silence is real. Not silent but watching, not quiet but waiting. Real silence is silence with movement, growth, purpose, progress. Because silence without growth is just avoidance. But silence with growth becomes transformation, and transformation is what shakes her the most. She doesn't just feel you pulling away, she feels you rising. Emotional distance, energetic distance, a shift in identity. And eventually, she asks the question you already answered. Did I lose him, or did he outgrow me? 8. You become the mystery again. Predictability kills desire. When she knew exactly what you would do, how fast you'd reply, how deeply you'd explain, how quickly you'd chase, comfort turned into control. And once control is established, curiosity dies. But when you go quiet, you become unreadable. Not because you're playing games, but because you're no longer broadcasting your inner world to someone who hasn't earned access. The version of you she thought she understood starts to disappear, and that collapse creates tension. She checks your stories, but you post less. She looks for signs you're falling apart, but you remain steady. She expects you to crack, but you hold your ground. Now she doesn't know if you're hurt or healed, waiting or moving on, missing her or forgetting her. And that uncertainty is a hook. The human mind is wired to solve puzzles, especially emotional puzzles. Now you are the puzzle. She's outside the gate where she used to walk freely, and suddenly she wants back in, not because you begged her to return, but because you stopped giving her certainty. Mystery implies value. It implies strength. It implies a life that doesn't revolve around her moods. But remember the catch. Mystery isn't pretending. Mystery is living. It's building a life so full, so disciplined, so purpose-driven that your silence isn't a tactic. It's a side effect of being locked in on your mission. She doesn't feel you hiding, she feels you ascending. And that's when curiosity turns into craving. And craving always pulls people toward action. 9. The comeback isn't chased, it's earned. Most men misunderstand no contact. They treat it like a countdown, like if they wait long enough, she'll return. But no contact isn't waiting. It's working. It's not about sitting in the shadows hoping she misses you. It's about rebuilding into someone who doesn't need her approval to stand tall, because the man she left was available, emotionally exposed, easy to read. He wanted her to choose him so badly that he would shrink himself just to keep the connection alive. But the man forged in silence is different. He values his peace. He values his self-respect. He values his purpose. He doesn't chase what walked away. He strengthens what stayed, his backbone. And if she comes back, it won't feel like a cute reunion. It will feel like a reckoning. She won't meet the same man she distanced herself from. She'll meet someone sharper, quieter, more selective. Someone who doesn't give access just because she reappears with a soft apology. Because you don't let her back in because she missed you. You let her prove she deserves proximity to the version of you she once underestimated. That's how the power shifts. You stop begging to be chosen and start choosing yourself. And here's the win that no one can take from you. Even if she never comes back, you don't collapse. Because this path was never about her return. It was about your return. To strength, to clarity, to an identity that doesn't shake every time someone goes quiet. You didn't choose silence to manipulate her. You chose silence to reclaim yourself. 10. The Stoic Blessing. Letting go isn't weakness. Letting go is the final act of power. It's the move she never expected. You releasing her not just from your phone, but from your mind, from the story you kept replaying, from the identity you built around her attention. Most men live in limbo, half detached, half hoping. They say they're moving on, but they keep checking the door, waiting for it to open. That's not stoicism. That's self-deception dressed as patience. The true stoic man releases fully. No bitterness, no revenge, no dramatic speeches, just quiet self-respect and forward motion. Because if she's meant to return, she will, but she will not return to the same version of you. She'll face someone she has to earn, and if she doesn't return, you still win, because heartbreak didn't define you. It refined you. Letting go says, I no longer need closure. I am the closure. It's the calm declaration that you are no longer available to the past. You're no longer driven by what left. You're driven by what's ahead, purpose, progress, peace. So if this hits something real in you, don't keep it trapped in your chest. Make it a decision. Join the men who don't beg, don't break, and don't bend for love that isn't earned. Subscribe to Stoic Legacy, turn on notifications, and comment below. I don't chase, I evolve. And before you go, gently remind yourself of who you're becoming. Tap like on this video, because every small action that supports your discipline matters. Your silence doesn't mean you lost. It means you finally stopped abandoning yourself.